Hi guys, thanks for tuning into the channel. My name is Liz and I'm a reseller in Maryland. In today's video, I wanted to share some estate sale finds that might surprise you. There are often things at estate sales that are overlooked by many of the resellers and pickers that you can find so that you can make yourself some good money. Let's go check them out. So I wanted to show you guys some things that you might not normally pick up or you might not realize the value of. So it's sort of like a haul, but I think there are two different estate sales represented. Maybe there's just one item from a different sale. So one of the items I actually picked up this morning is this vintage Gap, sort of like a varsity or Letterman's jacket. Now this one is distressed naturally, which I guess people like now. You see some of those Carhartt pieces going for big money when you literally painted your garage in them in the 90s. So these types of pieces do well. This is a well-loved piece, but I still think it will sell well. And when you look at the comp, it's around 60, I think, to 65. So that was something that a bunch of pickers had passed up, and I figured for a couple dollars, totally worth it. Now, I don't think that the other pickers saw this camera. If they did, I don't know why they didn't pick it up. I don't know a ton about cameras, but I love when the original box is with something. It gives you a lot of information about the piece. First of all, if you look at the side, it tells you a little bit about the actual camera. It has like some of the information that I'd have to spend hours trying to research with Google Lens and other tools. So this has some good value. It's got the original box too. I don't know if it works yet. I haven't tested it, but I do love this box. Now, if I had to guess, this looks like 1950s font to me, but I don't remember what I found out with the comp. I was just looking for values. Now, I've walked you guys through some Raku pottery before, but I just wanted to remind you to look for this black bottom studio pottery with this exaggerated crazing. Crazing always happens. It shows up more with age, but it always happens during the firing process. Age is not what causes this crazing. We see it more with age because dirt gets in the cracks. But with Raku pottery, I think they wrap some of the pottery pieces in like grasses and leaves. I'll put something on the screen if I'm wrong about that. And something about that, maybe that smokiness. Again, I'll put something on the screen because I'm just telling you off the cuff here. Causes that crazing to become darker. But a lot of people really like Raku pottery, and I thought this was neat with the handle. It kind of has like almost an Asian look. I have not identified an actual potter, although you should always look for marks. But these sell well in my booth, regardless of the maker. So I did snatch that up. And then I love this iridescent vase. I just thought it was so beautiful. Again, the black bottom with Raku. It is signed. I have not identified that maker, but I still think that piece will do well. And if I have to keep it, I won't be sad, meaning that it's not valuable. So this particular piece is by Dansk, and I do have a few pieces on the table by Dansk. If you look at these handles, this is part of the Coben style line. Now this paella pan never had a lid because I guess you don't cook paella with a lid. At least that's what I found out through the last couple of years of research with Dansk Coben style pieces. But the ones that do have lids, and I'll insert a screenshot, allegedly they double as a trivet. Now, I'm not sure I would do that because I know that the metal conducts heat really well and then moisture on maybe your wooden table. But that was what someone told me years ago when I first started. The woman I bought this from said she was planning on making a bird bath out of it. I'm really glad she didn't. So look for those handles. It's like an enamel metal pan. Those Dansk pieces do sell well. This one is a little chippy, but it's in the best color. It's in this sort of robin's egg turquoise color, and that's pretty much one of the best colors you can get. These are not quite as valuable as I had hoped, but they are really rare. I could only find one of each of these online, and I've never seen them before. I haven't decided if I'm going to keep them and use them as planters or if I'm going to sell them or use them as kitchen canisters. I don't know, but I love this sort of mod. It's kind of like mid-century, 1990s, but I think they're from the 70s. These are so cute. If you need a house hippo, look at how cute he is. So I did want to show you those only because if you see an unusual pattern like that, see how it's dotted? What do they call that? I want to say pointillism, but I'm sure I've heard people pronounce it pointillism, where you use dots to create like a pattern or an image. I just love those. So it doesn't really matter to me too much if they're super valuable, but they are super rare, which almost always enhances value. We're gonna jump to this Blanco piece. I think I have shown you one of these water pitchers before. These always sell for me between $30 and $40, even on Facebook. The richer colors, in my opinion, tend to sell tend to sell better. Sorry, the weather is changing here. This one has the original sticker, which is so cool. I don't think I've ever had one with the original sticker, and I actually bought 2 at the sale today, and both had their original stickers. You can see I've washed everything, so they have, all the pieces have water on them. Now, there was a lot of costume jewelry, and I picked these up just because I thought they were cool. They had their original little placard, or whatever you call this little jewelry holder. And I think it's My Star Bijou, not Mr. Maybe some people pronounce it that way, but it caused some confusion when I was first looking up comps. And these are pretty good, so don't snub your nose at costume jewelry. The jewelry people had already left because I overslept and forgot there was a sale. Because this one company has been having sales almost every day. You're not even free on a Monday anymore, which is so hard for us when we love picking so much. So I don't buy a lot of paperweights, but I've had pieces I'm fairly certain by the same artist. And I think I can insert my own comp for this, although this one's smaller than the one that I have in my shop. If you see these controlled bubbles and these unusual colors, I usually do pick these up for a few dollars. So look for signed glass and very like clear, meaning like the bubbles are only in one area. You know, they're concentrated and they're like very evenly spaced. That's what we mean by controlled bubbles. If it's just bubbles or it's got like a really hazy bottom, this one's got a polished bottom with a signature, then you probably won't want to get those, but these are more valuable. Now, something that I didn't know until I think I watched Nurse Flipper. I had bought a mug a lot like this, not with a rabbit, but similar size and style, and I thought it was Italian pottery. And it had like a signature, just like Italian pottery does. Like it looks like it's written in black, like fountain pen, almost the same as like the rabbit's whiskers. And this one has one of those. Now this one actually is marked. These are quite rare Starbucks mugs. These are hand-painted Starbucks mugs. Now I have had some that are worth 50 to like 100. These are not worth quite as much, but collectors of Starbucks, the real diehards, are going to know what these are. This one was marked, but the others I picked up today were not marked. And luckily I was able to teach one of my picker friends in the driveway about this. So look for those. Look for an unusual, sort of like Italian pottery. If you know what Italian pottery looks like, it's going to have a white base. It's going to look hand-painted. It's going to look sort of one of a kind-ish, although there are others with rabbits and flowers. Pick those up. Starbucks. So cool. I recognized this as a Dansk piece right away. I have others of these, but I couldn't fit them on the table. This is stoneware. It's speckled. The brown stripe. This is probably 1970s. But Dansk is very good about marking their pieces. Dansk pieces do great, guys. You got to pick up Dansk anytime you see it. Now, some of the like 80s stuff, I'm sure it'll be back. It doesn't sell well for me. But if it's Dansk, keep it for yourself because quality, really nice pieces. This bowl's comp, this is a matching bowl, also clearly marked. The comp on this one shocked me. Really surprised me. I knew the mugs did well. I guess I don't find the bowls very often. But always look for Dansk pieces. Some of the plates can go for $30 to $50 a piece if they're one of the rare patterns. So just look for those. I just thought this was the cutest, sweetest piece of pottery. This is from the 90s. So cute. I accidentally got the felt wet. I was able to find a comp for this. Look at this little one with his or her mother. So sweet. I think that will sell in the booth, but I could sell it online and find collectors more easily that way. But I always try to balance how much am I going to get. If it's worth $40 online, it's going to cost me $10 to ship it, right? Then I'm getting $30. Well, what if I get $28 in the booth, let's say? Maybe it's worth it because I have to pay taxes and all that anyway. So you'll have to go through those processes yourself. Flatware. If you watch Homeschooling Pickers, she buys it all the time. It sells for me all the time. I haven't identified the name of this exact pattern, and I know the knives look a little bit different, but I am quite certain they're from this set. This has a mid-century modern look, except that this part right here, this little scalloping sort of reminds me of the 80s. But look at these, like they're sort of modernist, right? You have 3 tines on the forks. I think forks usually have 4. And they're very long and slender, sort of tapered. So you have like those sort of stylized but sleek lines. So I do have many more pieces from this set, but I wanted to just remind you, pick up vintage flatware. It's almost always like $10 a set, and it quite often sells for $200 for the pieces you pick up. Whether people are replacing a bunch of teaspoons, which disappear around here, or they're actually trying to replace an entire set because they want to, mimic grandma's house or, dad's favorite flatware or whatever. Okay, we're to this now. So vintage car stuff. I do not pretend to know a lot about cars. My husband wishes I did. He knows a lot about cars. But this is like a leather, like a glove box. I don't know if I can open it with one hand. Like a glove box, like a, what would you call this? Folder? I don't know, case? I think this is from the 80s. I feel like if you bought a vintage Saab, it probably wouldn't have this in it, but you might want one. Or if you collect Saab items. So it was just an unusual item for me to pick up that I wanted to point out to you. If they have all the booklets and stuff, that's even better. But this being leather and in good shape, I think it will still sell well. I'll put up a comp for that. Now, I think the last 2 pieces are sort of related. I got these safari sheets. Now, these particular sheets do have some value. It's not a crazy amount, but I wanted to make sure I mentioned to look at the vintage sheets. They are almost always going to have a tag, so you can identify who they're made by. This one's a little hard to read, but and you can always use Google Lens to identify the pattern. And quite often they can sell really, really well. Like if you have Vera, or you have an unusual, this kind of reminds me of the 80s, like a safari pattern, something worth picking up. And you can see that these kind of match these towels. And I believe the towels are more valuable. So here's some identifying information. A lot of the time the vintage towels will have those. These are all going to be washed before I photograph and list them, but I wanted to mention, look in the linen closet. The other pickers aren't going to look there. You're going to look there. You're going to find vintage towels. Maybe this towel sells for $20, but if you paid 50 cents, that's a pretty good turnaround. And guess what? This is so easy to ship. You just put it in a little bubble mailer. You can reuse them from Amazon. So I wanted to mention that. So just a little summary to kind of keep you guys posted on some unusual items to look for and why you should look for them. Keep you posted on some comps. I hope you guys get out there and you find some unique treasures. And please share them with me if you do. I hope that you pay yourself well for your time. And I always hope that you never stop searching. I will see you guys next time.